And we are now 2 minutes away from that release point.
Station Houston on Space to Ground 2. You are go for release on time. Perform steps 2 to 4 in 1.320 Dragon release. The release time window opens at 10:10.
The go for release on time. Window opens at 10:10, and that will give us a go for steps 2 through 4 in 1.320 Dragon release.
Good copy.
So under a minute and a half now. You heard Capcom Victor Glover call up the release time 10:10. That's GMT. That's what the station and all of the different control centers are operating on. For us here in Houston, the release window 5:10 a.m. For those in the East Coast, 6:10 a.m. Eastern Time. But just 1 minute and counting. We'll keep an eye on it, get you an exact time of release of Dragon and the station's location over the Earth, as right now it's passing over Indonesia, so should be in that area, but everything moving smoothly, should just be about 50 seconds away. And release window opening in 30 seconds. And so we're in the release window. We'll stand by now. The command should be given any moment. And so now standing by of release of Dragon. And so K. Rubens and Takuya Onisha working through the steps, the snares in motion on the robotic arm, the Canadarm2, the end effector attached to Dragon. And we have release confirmed, and that's snares open, Dragon now free from the robotic arm. That release time 5:11 a.m. Central, 6:11 a.m. Eastern. And at the time of release, station was just about 251 statute miles over the Timor Sea, just north of Australia. Again, that release time 5:11 a.m. Central, 6:11 a.m. Eastern. SpaceX's Dragon now flying free from Canadarm2 and from the International Space Station. Everything looking good with the vehicle. Again, it'll gap will slowly open up between Canadarm2 and Dragon, and then Dragon will be able to execute its departure burns and maneuvers. Now you can see the Canadarm2 backing away from Dragon while it drifts just right about in the same spot. 7 feet and widening now. Good view from cameras on board the station as the arm maneuvers back into its safe position. And so with that, the arm backed away. Dragon's departure armed should be moving out of the station's neighborhood any moment. And there you go. You can see the attitude control engines beginning to fire and Dragon on its way.
Houston Station on Space to Ground 2, Dragon depart, successfully commanded.
Hey, we copy. Thank you. And Station Houston on 2, departure burn 1 is complete. Departure burn 2 in approximately 1 minute.
Copy.
Continuing to get a view right down the barrel of the station's robotic arm as Dragon departs. The first departure burn executed successfully, the second one coming in less than a minute. And again, it's going to do a series of these burns and maneuvers to move outside of the keep out sphere around the International Space Station. It's about a 200-meter sphere. And then setting it up for its return trip back to Earth, ultimately splashing down in the Pacific Ocean about 300 miles southwest of Baja, California. And again, that release time this morning, 5:11 a.m. Central, 6:11 a.m. Eastern, while the station and Dragon flew just about 251 statute miles over the Timor Sea, just north of Australia.
Station Houston on 2, departure burn 2 is complete. Go for SSRMS safing. Perform step 5 in 1.320. Departure burn 3 in approximately 7 minutes.
Copy, go, and we are monitoring departure burns.
Copy, and monitor per step 3 in 1.602.
And we are monitoring in block 3.
This room's a lot more.
And as you just heard, the first 2 departure burns already executed successfully, the next one in about 6 minutes or so. Dragon continued to make its way away from the International Space Station following that successful release at 5:11 a.m. Central, 6:11 a.m. Eastern.
Houston and the SpaceX team from the station on SpaceX 2. Congratulations to the entire team on the successful release of the Dragon. And thank you very much for bringing all science and all important payloads and all important cargoes to the station. We feel a little bit sad to see off the Dragon because we had a great time and enjoyed working on all sciences that the Dragon brought to us. So thank you very much to all team members.
Copy, and thank you for the good words. And to Expedition 48, thank you for all of your hard work and service, and Godspeed on the rest of your mission. And to the Dragon Recovery Team, fair winds and following seas.
And Dragon continuing to depart the area around the International Space Station. Will stick with it until it's outside of what's known as the approach ellipsoid. But hearing some congratulatory words from Takuya Onishi from the Japanese Space Agency to all of the teams down here on the ground and out at SpaceX for this mission. The SpaceX control teams out in Hawthorne who oversee operation of the vehicle during all of its powered flight phases from launch to approach to the station and now for the return trip home. And then there's another SpaceX team that's already standing by out on the West Coast that's going to be responsible for retrieving the capsule once it splashes down in the Pacific Ocean. That time scheduled right now at 11:47 a.m. Eastern, 10:47 a.m. Central. And it'll splash down a little over 300 miles southwest of Baja, California. Once Dragon's in the water, the teams will secure it, put it on a ship, and bring it back to a port just near Los Angeles and Long Beach. All of the time-critical science cargo will be offloaded and returned to NASA, and then on to researchers within 48 hours. And then all of the other vehicle hardware and things like that will begin to make their way back as well as the vehicle gets prepped for a trip to McGregor, Texas, SpaceX's facility for final decommissioning. Again, there's about 3,000 pounds of supplies packed inside of this capsule, which delivered just over 5,000 to the station, including a number of science experiments and the first international docking adapter, which is now securely attached to the International Space Station, preparing it for future U.S. commercial spacecraft. So everything going successfully so far today. The hatch closed yesterday. The maneuver overnight into the release attitude and the ultimate release with the command coming from NASA's Kate Rubins and Japan's Takuya Onishi. That command again came at 6:11 a.m. Eastern, 5:11 a.m. Central, while the station was flying 251 statute miles over the Timor Sea. And Dragon has so far executed all of its departure burns successfully. Going to continue to slowly depart the area around the International Space Station and should be out of that approach ellipsoid in just a few minutes.
Station Houston on 2. Departure burn 3 is complete. Dragon is outside the keep out sphere. Also, if you would please check the arm safe for us.
Copy. Departure burn 3 complete. Dragon outside the keep out sphere. We're still watching it go and waving goodbye, and we will step into step 5 for arm safing.
Copy. Thank you.
And you just heard the call. Dragon has already executed 3 departure burns, now outside of the keep out sphere. That's a 200-meter sphere around the International Space Station. That's a very critical passage point for any visiting vehicles that are going to be docking or departing with the International Space Station. The crew members on board also making sure that the Canadarm2 robotic arm is in its safing mode. And attitude control has already been returned to the International Space Station as it was in free drift per the usual plans for that actual release of Dragon. We should be seeing Dragon out of the approach ellipsoid in just about 4 minutes. But everything continued to go by the book this morning with the departure of SpaceX's 9th commercial resupply mission. Again, 3,000 pounds of cargo in tow and heading now on its way towards a splashdown in the Pacific.